Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dr. O's Supercast. I'm your host, Superintendent Jeremy Owoh, and this is the Jacksonville North Pulaski Schools District's Supercast podcast designed to innovate, collaborate, and educate our community. And this is our first episode. We're excited to have this first guest with us for our first episode number one of Dr. O's Supercast. It's our very own coach, Coach Eric Allen of our Jacksonville Titan football program. Welcome, Coach Allen.
Doctor, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and we're excited because this is our first home game. As we prepare, and so as we start to launch into our football season, share with us some of the things about you. Who is Coach Eric Allen?
Okay, well, I graduated in class of '99 in Gurdon High School, so I'm from Southwest Arkansas. I immediately went and played as a freshman at Washita Baptist University. Played on defense. Married my high school sweetheart, Christina. We've married for 20 years. So it's our 20th anniversary this past May, and I have two kids, and I've been coaching ever since.
Wow! Congratulations on the anniversary.
Thank you.
So, Coach, as we start thinking about your experience, will you share probably your most memorable experience as a player, and then your most memorable experience as a coach?
Wow. Okay. Really, it's interesting. My most memorable experience is when we actually lost in the playoffs my senior year to I think it was Shiloh Christian. Well, that's why we lost to Shiloh Christian my junior year, and then they were on the other side of the bracket, and we lost to Harding Academy. And so it was just that hunger to win a championship was right there both years. So I'll always remember that as a player, and as a coach, actually just going through that process and actually winning the state championship in both basketball and football. So those two contrasting, I guess memories stick out for me.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. And you mentioned that memorable experience as a player of losing. I know we're rebuilding our athletic program, our football program. What are some encouragement that you can share with our players and even the community as we start to rebuild? And we may not always get the W's
Hmm.
that we want, but what are some things, some positive aspects for our community and players and students as a whole throughout the district? What they can look at, the perspective from their angle as we grow the program. What are some things that you can share with them?
Right. Yeah. That's a great question. One of the things I noticed in most successful programs is they had a starting point. And I've been on some very good teams, but they had very tough and rough starting points. And so I learned as a coach to just understand and study that process. Maybe we weren't as strong in the weight room, or maybe we didn't make tackles, or we throw interceptions. And those things happen. We lost to teams that we shouldn't have lost to. We lost to smaller schools, and that was tough. But I just started marking those points in my memory, and just start grading, getting better and better, and more kids start getting involved. And also, when you start getting successful, things start happening for you that you didn't probably always deserve, but just that hard work pays off and put you in position to be successful. So the biggest thing we come out is that this is a process, and the kids are excited. As long as they keep playing for each other and learn how to play for each other, I think the sky's the limit.
Good deal. Good deal. So one of the things, Coach Allen, when I was able to interview that stood out to me was your passion for students, not just for the sport, but for in athletics, but the working with kids. Why, if someone asks you why Jacksonville Titans, why were you so passionate about coming to Jacksonville?
Right. I think I remember us talking about that. I played Jacksonville. I was on the other side of it with another team, and I always thought that Jacksonville had a lot of excellence, but things weren't clicking with them. And we've won. I've been on teams we won with less talent, but you guys had a lot of talent and a lot of potential here. And it's like if we could get the kids to believe in themselves, not only on the field but off the field. We took a couple scholars to UCA, and so as a coach, if we can help them believe in their sport and their talents, but also know that you can do whatever you want to do outside of football, and that's really special for me. That's important for me.
Good. And Coach, you made me think about just the things that our young people could do on outside or off the field. As a whole, with our student athletes, what are some other things are important that parents, that community, that other educators have to remember about our athletes when they're off the field? What are some things that we need to? how can we support our student athletes better?
Right. One thing that I noticed as the season going, a lot of the kids are under a lot of stress. Excuse me, a lot of stress of maybe something not going all right at home, or maybe they have a long trip. They get back, they have homework to get ready for, and had to get up in the morning for workouts. And so it's a high standard in every area of their life, as opposed to maybe some students or some scholars maybe can go home and rest when they're tired, as opposed to football players or basketball players, other sports. They may go immediately into practice and physically work hard and go home and have the same level of expectation around. So just understand the kids are doing their best, but it's a lot of factors that they push through that we may not be aware about.
Good, good, good. So, Coach, so we see you a lot on the field and the weight room, um, preparing for the game. Who is Coach Allen off the field?
um, I don't. I love to laugh. I love to play, and the kids may not think that, but I love hanging out with my family. Um, I don't. I love to read and to study, and so when I talk to the kids, a lot of things come out. I feel that I'm driven. I feel that I love success principles. So that's me 24/7. It may be just in a different area. I want to be who I am, and when you see me here, I'm the same person no matter what. But I love. I try to push myself wherever I'm doing.
Good, good. So your coaching philosophy, I hear throughout the athletes and coaches the slogan "All In." Share with us your coaching philosophy and how that came about.
Right. So with this and coming to this program, I know there were some things happened in the past that maybe got the athletic department distracted, but the journey going forward, whatever we put out, whatever we push forward to, you have to be all in, and all in meaning no matter where we go or what's going on, I'm all in on all my efforts, all my assets, all my support. And another big part of it that the kids are learning is that we're gonna be all in on the way we do it, not necessarily the results, but the way we put it together. We have to be all in on that because it's one way to do it your way, but it's another thing to do it someone else's way. So that's truly all in.
Good, good. I like that. I like that. So we're preparing for this game against West Memphis. What can the spectators and the audience be prepared for with tonight's game?
Yeah, West Memphis, they are a really good program. One of my good friends, Robert Hook, Coach Hook, is coaching at West Memphis. So we looked at film. They have very good athletes. They have a quarterback. He's new to the position, but he played last year. He's a left-handed kid. He's going to throw it all over the field. So he's very accurate. It's going to be a fast-paced game, and our kids are getting better, but they're gaining more confidence as we go. So we want to see our kids fight tonight. We want to see our kids be in position. But it should be an exciting game because there's going to be a lot of high-powered, electric things going on the field. So West Memphis, they're going to come to play, and we'll be ready for them.
And Coach, as you all prepare, not just for this game, how can this, but for the future games as well, and as you build the program, how can the community support you more?
Right. The biggest thing is helping other parents out. We may have a mom that has to work late night, and her scholar can't get to practice or can't be picked up from school. So lending a helping hand to our neighbors and helping each kid be able to participate the way they need to, that's a big aspect. Just community support, supporting each parent, and also understand that it's the process also. And when the player comes home, keep encouraging them and explain that process to them because most time adults we do understand that process, but we have to translate it to them so they can understand also.
That's good. Coach, one of the things that you are working on, as well as our athletic director, Coach Hickenbotham, is really growing our athletic program, not just at the high school, but throughout the district. Tell us about some of the projects that are happening to prepare our scholars for athletics in middle school and then high school.
Right. Well, Coach Hick, he's doing a great job. You may see him early in the morning or late at night doing something to push the program forward. So he's doing an outstanding job with that. We're bringing back character kids. The kids will come over to the high school on Fridays, and we'll talk with them and get them involved in what it takes to be a good scholar. With the elementary, we'll say seventh grade, start with seventh, eighth grade. Coach Josh Nations, they're doing a great job. He has 4 extra volunteers getting involved. So that's a big plus. Those guys jumping in right at the start. And later on, at the end of the season, we'll get the fifth, sixth grade development going back again. That's coming in on the weekends, and learning how to play the football, the motor skills, the throwing, the catching. So all of those things, being consistent with that year round is what makes a strong program. So if you get an email or a Facebook post about youth football, get them involved early because that's going to really help their success going forward.
Good deal. So who do they need to contact if they have some youth who may be interested in playing those sporting events, playing in those sporting events? Who can they contact?
Okay, well, if you're at the middle school, you can contact Coach Nations, or you can email me, myself, eallen at jnpsd.org, or Miss Chisa. You can ask her. She's also our communication director. She's heavily involved in what goes out and keep up with our Facebook posts. So these are regular places you can keep an eye on, keep tapping, and expect that. That's one thing. Expect these things to come out so when it comes up, you can be in a position to keep your kid involved.
Like that. So, Coach, things are changing. I was in the band, so I didn't play a sport, but I was in the band, and I know that students look toward life after 12th grade. So, and for me, I got a band scholarship and went off to college. Can you share some things that colleges are looking for in athletes right now so that our young people and even our families and communities can be more aware of how do we prepare our young people better to play collegiate sports or participate in those type of activities?
Right, and you mentioned the band. I want to mention we have a new band director also, and so we're very excited about that. So not only come to see the game tonight, but also our band is going to be there, our cheerleaders going to be there. So I'm personally excited. I walked by and took a small video recording of the band practicing because I really enjoy that. So I'm excited about the band. But as far as a scholar preparing for the next level, one of the things is nutrition, being around the right athletes that's going to work out extra, that's going to make the right decisions. Because it's not always the most athletic kid to get the opportunity, is that the kid has been making the right choices along the way. So if your scholar, your young man or young daughter they're very talented, make sure they're around the right people in the right environment. That's first. Second is encourage them along the way. There can be games where they may not get the ball, but that don't mean they need to change sports. That don't mean they need to quit. So learn how to hang in there, and also just being able to be coachable. And no matter if it's a personal trainer, I know a lot of personal trainers out there now. Just being coachable throughout that process. So it's the right environment, being coachable, and being in the right place. I guess is big, really, in my eyes.
Good deal. Good deal. Coach, you mentioned the band and cheerleaders. What role do the band program, the cheerleaders, play in the athletic program?
A huge role. A huge role. The band and the spirit squads, they're really the pulse of the game. They can change the game at a drop of a hat of a certain song if they're in tune to what's going on, because the scholars and the coaches and the players, everyone feed off of that. So that is truly a home field advantage if they're in tune with what's going on. So fans, no matter what's going on, winning or losing, you can actually change the momentum, and the kids will feed off of that, and good things start happening your way. So the band is really big in how the game actually plays out throughout the game.
Good deal. Good deal. A few more questions, Coach. 3 years, 3 to 5 years from now, where do you see our football program?
Well, at the rate we're going, at the number of kids coming to the program, and we have some very talented young people coming along. So if we're staying at 6A classification, pound for pound, we should be competing with the best. And wherever it is, but if we look at our kids in the program, and if we do the right things, we should be pushing for conference championships. And that's not if I'm here, whoever is here, the kids that's coming through and what's going on right now, we're on track. We're on track, and I I plan on being here. I don't want to throw that out there, but I'm very excited about that.
And that's one of the things that when I was able to talk to some of our scholars and even staff members, they want the stability, and not just in our coaching staff and their superintendent and other areas. And I think stability definitely helps schools grow, they help districts grow, and our athletic programs grow. So I'm glad to hear that you
Right.
plan on
Oh,
being here. I plan on being here with you as well. So
right, right.
I think we're growing
Yes,
a great team.
I'm all in.
All in. I'm all in. I like that. I like that. So, Coach, when you hear celebrities, when you hear other major people, so, famous people, and when they talk to the media, they talk about educators who really influenced them and made an impact on them. And so there's a legacy there. What do you want or see? how do you see your legacy?
Mhm.
What do you want your legacy to be? 20 years from now, when you've retired, what do you want your legacy to be?
You know, the big thing for educators is a student or someone comes back and they let you know, hey, you really helped me when no one else did. And that's really big. And even on a daily basis, we want a quick return. Hey, coach, I heard you yesterday, or that makes sense for what we're talking about. So and you've heard this before, kind of cliche, but if it's outside of games and stuff, we're not really helping them if we don't help them achieve in life. So, and I really want to know, what do you really want to do outside of sports? What do you want to do when you graduate? And when they let me know, let's go after that and say, Coach, you really pushed me to do this. So that's big for me. I help them achieve their goals.
Coach, one last question. I wouldn't be the English teacher that I am if I didn't ask you about your literacy story. I was talking with Mrs. Williams a couple of weeks ago just about this podcast and what our goals were for that. And one of the things that I talked to her about was that the fact that, at our foundation is literacy
Mm-hmm.
and education for our young people. But I'm always curious to hear people's thoughts about their literacy, their own experience, and how they learn to read and their that type of progression. So if I ask you your literacy story, what was that one time that you can remember at your earliest age where you learned to read, or what was an experience that you had with reading?
Oh no, that's a great question. And when you asked me that, I immediately thought, I don't know how old I was, but my aunt bought books for me. He said, "Oh, you're gonna be smart. You're gonna be this," and she just bought these little stacks of books, little thin books, and I didn't know, but she was telling me how smart I was, and I started reading, and I didn't know, but that really impacted me in grade level, and I still read to this day. I'm currently reading books now, and when I talk to my players in team meetings, each day I may mention, "Hey, this is the book I'm reading." I want them to know I'm a coach, African American coach, and I am reading on a daily basis, and that impacts my decisions in my career and what I do on the field. So that's huge. Myself, not from my family, also, we're big readers. So if your scholar doesn't read, you can start a few pages at a time, audiobooks, and get them in the habit of gaining information. So that's really been huge in my life personally.
Good deal. Good deal. So, Coach, we're coming to an end. Is there one last thing that you would like to share with the audience before we wrap up?
No, I'm excited for this opportunity. We're excited for tonight, and this is uh, like we're in the kitchen and grandmother fixing a meal, but it's gonna be great. There's a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of moving
It may be
parts.
a mess in the kitchen, but it's gonna be awesome. So we're excited about that. You guys just come out and keep supporting everything that Jacksonville's doing.
Well, thank you, Coach Allen, for joining us for our episode 1 of Dr. O's Supercast. We're excited. The community excited. There's a buzz around the community about the athletic program, about you being here. I know a lot of our scholars are excited to have you here. They've shared with their parents and other teachers how much they feel like you really care about them. So thank you for being committed, for being all in with our
Yeah.
kids. And thank you, audience, for participating, for listening, and for joining us today. Always remember that we're one team with one dream. We are tight and strong. Take care.